Capitão da Venda.
It's an important lecture after the conferment of our honorary doctorate this afternoon. The University of Cambodia has been working closely with the International Peace Foundation to organize a series of lectures, and this lecture is one of the fourth lectures that we have. It is still very young. I was quite surprised because I could only ask him what was Cambodia like in 1965. And during lunch he told me Cambodia was peaceful, tranquil, was a lovely country. Vietnam War, as I would call. So of course today in what we call a new era of progress. So with that, just a very brief introduction. What we wanted to do now is to hear from you on how you see Cambodia, or how you see the change.
Thank you, Dr. Cal. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Uwe Morwitz, Chairman, International Peace Foundation, for a few remarks. Thank you.
And this is Chancellor Dr. Harold Sahanda for hosting our event today. Having started in November last year, bridges will now be continuously held in Cambodia until April 2010. The third ASEAN series of bridges is an independent contribution to the Decade for Cultural Peace and Nonviolence in Peace Foundation's intercultural and transdisciplinary approach towards peace. The foundation does not take sides, but acts as a mediator by creating a facilitator between different language groups in our divided societies, where politicians speak another language than artists, and business and religious leaders another one than scientists. In countries to build further bridges towards peace and international understanding by expanding its program in Southeast Asia to stimulate the intellectual, scientific and cultural exchange in the region. I'm grateful and worldwide support for development who have enabled us to make the idea of bridges a reality. I would like to say thank you for everyone present today for taking part in this program for peace is education. In this spirit, we welcome today Hollywood legend Oliver Stone, whose work has earned him 3 Academy Awards on hair.
There, and then in the US, Merchant Marine. He went back to Yale University, and he then decided to leave and start on his first boat. Thereafter, he enlisted as an active serviceman in the US Army in Vietnam. He served for 15 months, being wounded and receiving 2 medals in recognition of his brave life of conspiracy theory. Having cemented his place as one of Hollywood's most compelling directors, Oliver Stone has received international recognition, including 3 Oscars in total. His films have also received 28 other Academy Award nominations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yes.
1965 was about 25 years ago. My God, not 35 years ago. Guys go very fast. Everything we want to say today. I want to make my remarks brief. I know there's questions coming. I know I'm talking to mostly students, although I do see a few people further along and along the road of life. So, but remember that my remarks are directed. I am here in a strange culture. But again, for some reason I have been brought to Southeast Asia by my own destiny. I have never imagined the Vietnamese people could come back from that war in the shape that they are in, nor people have so regenerated themselves, and here we have so many universities in this country and so many young people who are eager to learn. It seems that many speeches are forgotten. I don't remember anything from what I heard, most of it, but I'm going to try to get to the point, which is history and our perception of history, because history concerns me a lot and my films. I've been working on for not living in such a world. And this is what I do. I'm trying to make this documentary, I'm directing it to the young people, I'm trying to make it simple enough so that you can understand what happened to America. Because it's happened to other nations. Not too long ago, if you remember, those of you were around 1900, all these great Western empires were congratulating themselves about the greatness of Western civilization. Partly because they controlled, through their colonies, almost the entire and the electricity industry, money, the pound, silver, Federal Reserve Boards, free trade, tariffs, British Empire, maritime duties. Ugliest wars of all time, World War I. More people were killed in that war than ever up to date, up until that date in history. It was fun. Chaos resulted from World War I, and the West re-scrambled its territories, and within 20 years was at war again. A yet even bloodier war called World War II. And from that grew more and more mythology. The idea grew that in South America and Central America, all those countries that were seeking land reform and social reform were communist, were part of a conspiracy. So they say I was a conspiracy theorist. I have to laugh because I grew up in under the greatest conspiracy. And now it's terrorism, which replaced communism as an enemy. We bloated ourselves in numerous wars throughout the planet, and America essentially became the new empire, the one that had replaced the British Empire. And more importantly, like the British, it became a war-making machine. And how everyone now, with the fall of the Berlin Wall, was going to follow the American model. There was going to be neoliberal economies and globalization throughout the world. And with the Soviet Empire gone and collapsed, in 2000, when he stole callously that election, it symbolized the end of something very important, the beginning. How do we get there? It's up to you and up to me. I'm not the first one, and certainly the Buddhists have been there way before I say this. I'm not the first one to say that peace can only begin once you have come to grips with your own aggressiveness. We know every time we come to our edge and we scream or we yell, we get angry, this is the beginning of a war. It's very important for us to realize that we're all part of this planet, this madness, and this hostility. We have to put a stop to it. The sciences should shape your mind. They teach you how to think. So you can take the same world that exists from all these sciences and arts, and you can see the world in a richer way than the pure brutality of it. You can give back. You can contribute as you grow older. And you should nurture by doing that. You should nurture civilization. Civilization is the link between all of us. It's the right way to behave. To to do no harm is...
He has hosted the Range Orchestra and also Vietnam. And I was interested at the time when I read the brochure, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in person here. And you are here, right? Very proud. And I will get straight to the question. It's not simply is inspiration that have made you become a Hollywood film director like this, because I'm interested in. I'm serious, okay? May I go to my seat listening to your answer? Thank you, my friend. Theories and historical inaccuracies. Can you briefly talk about the controls, say, after the film JFK was released in response to all of those strong critics?
Can you help me out a little bit?
Advice, if that is possible. I'm in Cambodia at the moment representing the families of Sean Flynn and Dana Stone, two journalists that were kidnapped and killed in the 1970s. And we've contacted the US government and presented them with a whole bunch of evidence regarding what's happening with these what happened to these two gentlemen and their gravesites. And the US government is saying that they really don't care because these guys were civilians and they weren't US military. Which way do you think I should go to sort this out, sir? What do you think is the easiest way to try to get your government to listen to?
Today, in delivering this interesting speech, Dr. Beazle, Nobel Laureate, biology at 2 o'clock. I would also like to thank all our excellencies, Your Excellency, Dr. Chow Kim Horn, President of the University of Cambodia, all our professors and dignitaries in the audience, thank you very much for attending today.
Would you say? Would you say?